How you doing, guys? It's your boy Blockchain Gaming here, and listen, guys, it's time for another video, and I'm in the mood to do something interesting. I decided we would compare Bankroll Moon, Bankroll credits, and Tewkenaire. And there's a couple things we gotta outline first and foremost, because although I feel right now like the divs are going to be higher in Tewkenaire, I have to make it clear that with Bankroll credits, I always have a guaranteed amount of Tron. I can never be dumped on. XYZ can never happen. The token price cannot dip, and I cannot go into the negatives. These are things that cannot happen. So if we're comparing the three of these, it's an interesting time for me to be getting into Tewkenaire as well because we're at the bottom. But essentially, I've put 100 Tron into all of them. I just put 100 Tron into Moon, I just put 100 Tron into credits, and I just put 100 Tron into Tewkenaire. And I'm going to be tracking the dividends, zero reinvesting on all of these. Credits, Moon, and Tewkenaire will have zero reinvesting. I'm planning to not reinvest a single thing. We're going to watch the earnings tab grow here, and we're going to watch the divs grow here, and in credits, we're going to watch the divs grow here. But it's important that we look at a few of the concepts that we discuss, really the difference between the platforms right now. Because if we do Bankroll credits to Tewkenaire comparison, first of all, I always know I can sell my 90 credits right now at let's see, 90 times 0.9, because it's a 10% in and out on credits. I can get 81 TRX back from my 100 Tron into Bankroll credits at any time I want. That means a 19% loss is the highest potential loss I can have on Bankroll credits. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. With Tewkenaire, you have 10% in and out, but you have a buy and sell price that is fluctuating. So I'm sure some of the people who bought at 6 that can only sell for 3.5, those people are down more than 3.427, more than 19%. So that's one of the key factors here. Secondly, with Bankroll credits, this contract doesn't really have a bottom or a top. Bankroll credits, the ideology behind it is you are never late. With Tewkenaire, you are never late if you hold for long enough. But it's the same thing with Bankroll credits in a way, because if you actually want an ROI, you are never late, but you have to look at it as a long-term thing. With the same thing with Tewkenaire. Tewkenaire, you can buy and it goes down, but if you hold it long enough, you're probably never going to be late, considering the amount of YouTubers that are on this, the ambassadors, and the types of promotion and the partner dApps. And I don't think Trevon James is going to give up on this project. So in that respect, you are never late in both aspects. But the biggest part is this has a maximum 19% downside, which means tomorrow if Tron goes to 20% a piece, I can take a 19% loss on my initial deposit, assuming I get no dividends, assuming nothing happens. I take a 19% loss on my initial deposit, and boom, I can be dumping my Tron at 10 cents each. If Tron gets to 10 cents each in Tewkenaire, I think because of the price dynamic fluctuation, I think people who cash out their crypto to fiat will be selling this and getting out. If you look at Bankroll Moon, it's a completely different game. Bankroll Moon is really, it's the Moon tokens. You buy BNKR when you go in as well. You can dump on Sundays. You mine Banker with all your actions. Really, it's a different type of game. This is more the P3D style. It's a fluctuating token price. Who knows what can happen when you go inside? And there isn't much volatility on Moon except when people are dumping in the price, because you can only dump 20% at a time. The price doesn't fluctuate as much, so whale cannot dump on you. So you do have whale protection, but you're also a little more hostage to the contract, because in order to get your money out of Bankroll Moon, you dump 20% of whatever you have in every week. So you can never get 100% out. It takes a long time to get the majority of your investment out. So you're a little more hostage to the contract. But at the same time, the price will not go heavily downwards. If you're away from your computer for 2 weeks, it's only people dumping about 35% of the stack, which if everyone's dumping, which I don't even think brings Moon down that much. So that's the next thing to look at. So Moon is another, it's different than Tewkenaire. These aren't regular P3Ds that Bankroll has. Credits and Moon are special P3Ds. Tewkenaire is more of a standard fit, and you get an instant 1% extra in frags on whatever you put in. So now I'm going to be tracking the Bankroll versus Tewkenaire fight, the war, and we're going to see who ends up coming on top. My prediction is, I feel like Tewkenaire's hit a bottom here, and I know partner dApps are coming. My prediction is that Tewkenaire divs will be nicer in the short term, but the potential risk for downside, the risk for FUD, will be far greater at all times. I think tomorrow, I don't know, we don't see an upload from Trevon James in a week, contract gets fudded. People are gonna think there's no one playing, there's no development, there's no one supporting it. Whereas with Bankroll credits, I'm confident the max loss I'm ever taking is 19%. And that is saying something. The fact that the max loss I'm ever taking in credits is 19%, it just makes me want to put more into credits. But honestly, I'm making too much playing around with these TRX dApps. So we're going to be following this series tightly. I will not be adding a penny. I'll even attach the wallet ID down in the description below if that helps you guys. Believe I'm not tampering with the results, which I would never do. But anyways, guys, this is the start of the series, Bankroll versus Tewkenaire. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been your boy Blockchain Gaming signing out, guys. Peace.